Well, it's a beautiful day in New England. Working on putting in a roadway. Just got so sick and tired of having mud and water and dust and you name it. So I ripped some of this stuff out with our beautiful Kubota and putting in some good base material. Here we go. Hey kids, don't try this at home. Right now is eco mode. Let me know if you can see a difference. Makes you a little smoother. Slows everything down. Now I'm going to shut it off. You got to be easier on the controls because they're more responsive. Burn a little bit more fuel, probably negligibly, but the machine moves faster, so a lot for a little or a little for a lot, you do the math. So I guess this is kind of like a dual purpose video of, you know, putting a roadway in, getting to watch the magic of the gravel being moved around, which I always have enjoyed, and a review of the Kubota Kx 040. I don't do a whole lot of excavation. This is my own house. I built it myself. And we just got sick of, well, my girlfriend has horses out back, and we just got sick of the mud coming across the driveway and all that. We live in a really nice spot with good gravel, but we had to bring some fill in to build this spot up when we put the, you know, when we built the house and did all the site work. And, you know, unfortunately there's some clay in there and it was holding moisture and it was just kind of making a mess. So we own the equipment. Well, the bank owns the equipment. We just lucky enough to get to use it for the meantime. And I figured, what the heck, start ripping some of the stuff up and haul some, you know, gravel and rock. We'll top dress it so it'll be more like a roadway. But kind of a fun project for me anyways. I enjoy doing this stuff. No time. Wanted to do this in the summer, but what can you do? So anyways, I don't do a ton of excavation. You know, randomly I'll grab brush piles, maybe rip up a little concrete, knock around, you know, some trees, or just stuff here at my property. And I am a general contractor. And this machine seemed to be the best fit for me. It's small enough I can get it in pretty much anywhere I need to, but it's big enough where it's got power where it does pretty much everything that I would do. So I've been very happy with it. The price was reasonable. You get up in size and they get so expensive, you better be using the thing all the time. You know, this, fortunately, it's, I don't want to say it's a small payment, but the payment's small enough where, you know, I can almost justify having it, you know, over where I was having to rent them before. But if you get up into the 057, yeah, it's a little bit bigger, a little more power. Well, let me say this first. I have not had any power issue whatsoever. It has had plenty of horsepower. I'm usually running it at half throttle or on eco mode, and it is just fine. I have not had any issues where I needed to be able to dig a little harder or whatnot. I mean, we'll see, but you know, sometimes when I'm moving a heavy log, maybe a little bit more weight to the machine would be beneficial, but I really haven't had anything to complain about, and this machine was like 20 grand less than the next one, so I'm happy. And I am not a seasoned operator, so sorry for the bumps. You know, I probably only have 20 or 30 hours in these things. I mean, I can hold my own, but I am still learning. And yep, you got to have the hydraulics license in the state of Massachusetts, which is pretty ridiculous. You know, there's definitely some things that they should do for people to know, like, you know, dig safe. You definitely need to do dig safe for everyone's safety. But, you know, there's common sense, and then there's operator experience. And for them to come in and, you know, part of the test questions are like, when do you refuel the machine? Like, come on, give me a break. If you don't have that figured out, then you need a little bit more than a hydraulics license. Anyways, you know, we're at the point right here where I would probably have my loader or skid steer or something to start just pulling these back, but we are a snow contractor, and all of the equipment is deployed pretty much to where they're going to be working, and you know, I have this, so I'm going to use this rather than going and trucking something around. Anyways, let me know what kind of videos people would like to see with this machine. It does take some work to set the cameras and do all that shenanigans, but if people want to see certain things, I'm happy to film certain things, because I was kind of disappointed with the videos that I was seeing when I was making my decision over buying this machine. It didn't appear that anybody was really giving the grits about it. They were just setting up a camera, say in the woods, and filming themselves. The only person that I think gave a good review of this stuff was the guy at Workplay TV, so shout out to him. I think we probably do relatively similar. We do the Ford Super Duties and we run the Kubota equipment, and so shout out to him. Anyways, I probably will do some stuff with the functionality of this machine and see what people think, and you know, we'll get you. So there we go. There's some more camera view for you. Anyways, lifting logs, picking stuff up so I can cut the down trees. We've got not a huge yard, but a little bit of acreage where I've got some woods, and I like to clear some stuff up. My kid's got one of those little power wheels, and I want to have a nice spot where he can, you know, drive the thing around and have some fun. So we'll be using it for that. And yeah, I actually used to run a lot of Bobcat equipment, and I don't really want to say anything bad about them, because maybe it's just my experience, but over the past couple of years I've had a lot of issues and a lot of error codes, and we had been leasing the machines to let me fix the camera here. It's getting a little too slapping against the glass. There we go. We had been leasing the Bobcat wheel skid, tire skid loaders, and I just had so many error codes, and I had 2 or 3 times per machine over the course of 3 years where they just shut down, catastrophic failures that the service department had to come out and take a couple hours to fix whatever the heck went wrong with them. And I can't have that in a snowstorm, and I pray we don't have that issue with the Kubotas, but we've been switching over a bit here. As far as my choice for this, I also looked at the E42. The 040 was actually a hair cheaper, and I like the Kubota motor. I made that call. Bobcat equipment, when they had the Kubota motor, they were fantastic. My experience as of late with the Doosan or whatever the heck they're putting in them, my experience has as nice. So what do? I guess you switch it up. Can't be doing the same thing over and over, right? So anyways, for this machine, it really does seem to be a good fit. You know, I'm sure there's something I'll get into. I mean, the reach is pretty impressive. I mean, I'm out every bit of 15 feet in front of me. I'm sure at some point, you know, I'll be wanting an 080 or whatever to do it, but I'm not really an excavation contractor, so if it takes me a little bit longer, so be it. I don't need the payments. The payments were reasonable. They had fantastic financing. I had been kind of waiting to pull the trigger on one of these, and then when it dropped down to 0 and the cost went down a little bit, I decided to go for it. I consider myself very fortunate that we have a decent workflow, and you know, I look forward to running this thing more. And I'll shut my app for a little bit and let you guys watch the magic of the hydraulics, because basically we just spread out every bit of 15 tons of material. Wouldn't want to do that by hand. Watched a lot of videos before making my purchase, and there was always seemingly this guy, I think his name was Casey or something of that nature. He'd always say, "Young man," and then he'd have his recommendation for how they run that. So whoever you are, I hope you're watching. I hope I get one of your comments with a recommendation for improvement. I know there's a million better ways we can always do things, and we don't always see it right at the moment, so let's have it. Put it in the comments. What should I be doing? I guess the tips for new operators, because that's probably more so who's watching this stuff, is just take your time, learn the controls. Doesn't matter if it's A or B, it's just whatever your preference is. And, you know, you start slow. Don't bog the motor down, but, you know, keep the RPMs low and, you know, stay smooth, because smooth is fast. Don't knock yourself around. Don't knock the machine around. Don't overreach like I'm doing, but this is super light and easy material, so it's not working the machine. You know, most of your power is like right there when your, you know, your arc is closer, but like I said, this is loose, easy flowing material, so it should not be a problem. And then just you know, find a nice wide open area. Don't go into anything that's going to be something you're going to damage the machine or hurt yourself or whatnot. And I probably would recommend don't start playing with trees until you know what you're doing. You know, everybody goes, and that's probably one of the first things, because you have this amazing machine with so much hydraulic power to rip things out. I mean, this thing's got like 8,000 pounds of breakout force in the bucket. You know, it's amazing what you can do, but you can also do a lot of damage on anything you touch. But, you know, if you're going to go play with trees and you're knocking stuff down, you know, you can knock a tree right into yourself. So make sure you understand the physics of what's going to happen before you start prying on something, and make sure you're familiar with the machine. Make sure you know a way out. Make sure you know where your controls are, and it's just time. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do things you wish you hadn't, and you probably bruise your machine up. And you know, I'm hoping that I learned all my hard mistakes with my other machinery over the years, but I doubt it. We're always learning. And I know for myself, it's just relaxing as hell to watch this stuff just get moved. So enjoy. I started drifting myself sideways, and that's not good because the motors to turn the house are nowhere near as strong as your hydraulics for everything else, and you're not supposed to use that to turn anything. So that's probably one of the biggest things you got to watch out. Make sure you're not trying to turn the house while you're pulling on something. It happens. I was sitting on level and we're going to kind of level this out a little bit, and then I'm going to pack it down with the tracks. I'm going to make it so the buddy of mine with the tri-axle can drive in here, and he can start. This was a really deep section, so we kind of had to fill it, but he can probably now drive back, and he can tailgate spread driving out of the other sections is my guess. So that'll be nice. And then it'll probably be time just to grab one of the skid steers and smooth it out. So I would say my biggest regret on this machine is not buying it sooner. I spent a lot of money on rentals, or paying people, friends with machines to come and do stuff, either for my house when I was building. Now don't get me wrong, I greatly benefited by having a professional help me with the bulk of the house site, but there was a lot of things like putting in my pool or my decks, and, you know, prepping stuff for the roadway that I could have saved a fortune on. And you know, I just got to a point of where, you know, I needed some things done, you know, a drainage line, a water line, you know, silly stuff like that, where I calculated what the people were looking for, and it was going to cost me more to do just a couple of those jobs than it was for me to finance this machine for the entire year. And then that didn't, you know, account for numerous other things that I want to do. So for me, the finances just made sense, and I pulled the trigger. Now, the reasons I'm glad I waited was I got an opportunity to run different machinery, and I got the opportunity to learn, make mistakes on something else besides a beautiful brand new machine. Then the other thing is, you have no idea. If you're just getting into it, you need to probably rent and practice and see if that's what you're going to be doing for work before you go spend 50 grand or 60 grand on one of these things. So, baby steps, I suppose. That was probably a mistake right there. I should probably pull that back with a shovel so I don't rip my asphalt. We've got really nice gravel base underneath here, and hoping this will drain very nicely. No more puddles, no more mud. but we got rid of the clay, so the mud should be gone anyways. And it looks like our truck is here, so we'll get the magic of that. Let me just make another pass for him to get this a little more packed down, and we'll get out of his way. Consumption on these. I ran this machine for every bit of 12 hours, if not more, doing random stuff like this, and I only used like 2/3 of a tank. I'm actually pretty impressed with that. I'm so used to it with the skid steers. You go and you run them, and you know, you burn in a tank in like 8 hours. So this was kind of nice. Different monster, but one amazing thing is just how fast this stuff burns up. I mean, just in that hole we were working in a minute ago, we've already burned up 30 ton of material. It's just incredible. But that was a much thicker part. Once we get over to this side, it's much thinner. You know, I had 2-3 foot. Over here I've got spots that are, you know, less than a foot, 6 inch. So we're gonna keep chipping away, and then we'll have a heart attack over the bill later. Definitely get asked by the boss lady about a water line and electrical out to the barn, I'm sure, as soon as this is done, right? I'm just kidding. She talked about it previously. But, rookie mistake, I didn't prep for it when we were doing the house and before I closed up the foundation holes and all that. So, I got my pool line running across, and then I've got underground drainage line for my gutters, and it would be an absolute mess to excavate over where I would preferably like to go for the water and the power, you know, over to the mechanical room. And unfortunately, I think we're going to be using alternative measures to get the water and power out there, because I'm not going to go rip that stuff up. And let that be a lesson. If you're doing something, plan it out 10 times. Draw it out on paper, see how it feels, see what you like, see what you don't like, and always just plan on doing something different in the future. Make sure you do, if you're going to build a house, outdoor water faucets, and by all means, connect one to the hot water for an outdoor shower. Probably illegal, but all the water goes in the ground anyway. Keep it out of your septic system. Well, I have a septic system anyways. The other thing, if you're going to build a house, don't go as big as you think you need. My house is about 2,600 square foot. It's much bigger than I need. I thought, this is my one shot. I want to live here the rest of my life. I kind of built what I wanted. And unfortunately, the tax man comes in and, you know, they're trying to make a profit off of you, which is absolutely ridiculous, by the way. I've had so many issues with excise and property tax stuff, it's not even funny. You know, I have trailers where, you know, they just create their own value and send you a bill disregarding what the receipt says. And then they change the story and the rules every time. You know, we had just bought a truck, they valued the thing something like $25,000 more than what I paid for it. And, you know, then I brought that up to get the bill abated, and they give me the story of, oh, well, it's not based on anything, it's this, and it's, you know, it's a blah, 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 just a bunch of nonsense. And, you know, luckily I saved the sticker and the receipts, and I said to the guy, I said, here's my receipt, here's what I paid, here's the MSRP. You know, this is crazy, you know, $25,000 more on a $40-something thousand truck. And that's what they're doing. They create their own valuations, they make up their own numbers on what they think it should be worth, and then they send you a bill for it. I don't know how we got to that system. I am not going political in this at all, but you know, taxes basically is just a penalty for being a productive member of society. Gotta love it. I know we need money for a lot of things, but jeepers crow, they can cut the working person a break. You're already paying income tax. You shouldn't have to pay tax on things that you already paid tax on. Especially not some crazy made-up number. Anyway, as you can see, this thing is just a monster. I've run an 057. Can't say it's that much faster. Shoot, I even think it's got the same size bucket. This is a, I forget what this has got on here, but maybe it's a couple inches bigger, I don't know. But the 057, you get knocked around a little bit less because it does have that extra, close to 2,000 pounds, but I don't miss it. Like I said, I've got the extra $400 a month in my pocket. I'd gladly take an extra 10 minutes on the job or whatever. That's just my opinion. I'm sure there's places where it's what you need. Now I think Kubota's got to set up those affiliate links like all those people do for Tesla or Amazon or whatever, you know. Click and buy, and they'll send me a, I don't know, take care of one of my month's payments or something. And then for YouTube, you could have 1 million views on a video and they won't pay you unless you have 1,000 subscribers. So I guess, please subscribe. I'll try not to put up annoying videos. Let me know what kind of videos you want, but I don't know. I'm halfway doing this just for the enjoyment. I mean, we are in the middle of that crazy 2020 thing that's still going on. I don't think you're even allowed to say its name, but just kind of wanted to make videos because I've done a lot of cool projects as a contractor, and then I look back and I don't have photos or videos, and I wish I had. I wish I had done a lot more videos of building this house because it's just wicked cool memory. So I mean, half of this is for my son to watch when he's older, and you know, for me to look back on, and I guess kind of fun hobby. And then you know, if it starts getting views and makes some money, that'd be fantastic too. I'll use it to pay my bills. But you got to do some crazy stuff to get that kind of publicity, so I don't have that kind of time. We're just here for the ride. We're going to enjoy it and see what happens. But yeah, 1,000 subscribers. So they'll run ads on your video. They'll make money on it. They won't pay you. Smart people. Whoa. We must have had a big rock on the track there. So with that said, I'm probably not supposed to be backdragging the way I am, because I don't think we want to. I'm going to be a lot more cautious now to not build up rock at the track. I don't know if you can see down there, but that's another one of those learn the hard way, but hopefully we caught it before it was really an issue. So it's like 25 degrees here in New England this morning. I do have the door wide open just because I like the air. I had the temperature control on full with the fan on one, and I was toasty warm in here. So the HVAC system is great. I just got this machine like a month ago, so I have not experienced the AC. But we will try that out in the springtime. I imagine it works pretty darn good. Because we've used it and everything else, and it'll chill you right out of the cab. Take that little hump out. Kind of wishing I had a, that was a waste of time. Kind of wishing I had a grading bucket. I think I'm going to get just the standard one because the hydraulic ones are just, they're so expensive, and if you're not doing this stuff all the time, I can't justify that. It's just too much money. So yep, over here we got one of those Kubota RTVs. I bought it because we do commercial snow, and we've got places with like, I don't know, every bit of a mile of sidewalk, and it is just so difficult to get good help that we really have to, you know, maximize our the RTV, we got a V-plow to go in the front. Some spots where there's just, you know, there's massive 6-foot sidewalks that are, you know, hundreds of yards long at a time, and we can't find good help, so I need to maximize what my guys can do. And haven't had a chance to use it yet. Hopefully we don't have to use it till January, but it's there. And then in the meantime, we use it around the house and the farm. My kid loves riding in it, and we use trash out to the dumpster with it. We create all sorts of uses. You know, it's just like these. Once you have it, you start using it for things. You know, I would have taken a shovel, and now I say to heck with that. I got a big hydraulic shovel. But the thing is fantastic. I'll do a video on that as well. Holds 1,000 pounds in the back, which, you know, like I was mentioning, some of those places with the massive sidewalks, and we're not just using it at one property, it's getting used at multiple properties. Getting trailer around. You know, you can put all this weight in the back, so we can put our salt buckets in, and everybody can just, you know, somebody can drive and somebody can follow behind, and you know, we have material, because it's exhausting going. You're carrying a 60 to 70 pound bucket full of salt, and you know, you're out busting your hump, and you know, you're dumping the stuff out, and your arm just gets fatigued, you know, and then you got a place where you got to use 20 buckets of it. It's just, it's not realistic, and there's only so many, you know, for somebody to carry it, and there's only so much you can do for you know, following behind with the truck. You know, there's spots where you can't really get onto the sidewalk and whatnot. So we're looking forward to it. My crew is looking forward to it. But off storm, it's my toy to play with. More versatile. There's so much more, I don't know what the heck the word would be. I guess mobile. You can do so much with them, so much easier, so much faster than having to, you know, reset every 2 seconds with the wheels and the outriggers and all that. Plus, the other thing is, you know, I bought a loader. I bought one of the Kubota wheel loaders, which I'll do a video on. And I bought this, and it's cheaper than the backhoe for the most part. You know, they're so outrageously priced. Those backhoes are like, you know, $130,000, $140,000. And from what I've seen for the used ones, is they've got 5,000, 6,000 plus hours on them. That's probably fine, but it's just not something that I'm interested in. You know, if I had multiple machines, yeah, I guess you could make it work, you can rebuild, but I mean, we're not talking about ones that I've seen that are nice and clean and all that other stuff. They need, you know, full engine rebuilds, full hydraulic rebuilds, and by the time you go and you spend all this money doing them, it's like, what the heck? You know, then the other challenge you have is, you know, like I said, I financed this for 0%, and you know, I was looking at some used ones. You know, if something was lightly used, that's fine. But the used ones, they did not seem to be in that great a shape. And then I finally found a used one that I would be interested in purchasing. And the interest rates, you know, put me at a payment within about $80 a month. And, you know, this was a brand new machine with a warranty versus a machine with like 1,800 hours that I think had been a rental, and typically rental equipment gets pounded because people just don't care. They're just trying to do their job as fast as possible. And you know, if you're going to be within $80 a month, I'm going to buy the new all day long. Now there are a bunch of maintenance things you got to stay up with on these. I'll make videos when we do that, like changing the final drive oil and all that other stuff. YouTube is such an incredible resource. It's amazing. I mean, I refer to it as YouTube University. I mean, you can honestly learn so much, and there's so many awesome people that are, you know, working class, like I presume you and I. If you're watching this video, then you're probably into this sort of thing, and you probably work for a living or you're interested in it, but they're, you know, I really don't care what these influencers have to say. It's meaningless. They're putting up, it's garbage. I want substance. I want to learn something. And there's so many people that put up just awesome how-tos. It's just, YouTube is an incredible resource. Looking pretty good. I think we're gonna go get up over this way and wait for the truck to bring another load in here. I think we're making good progress. As you can see, this is much lighter. I scabbed some of this stuff up. It was holding puddles, and so I figured I'd rip it down a little bit more. I don't know how well you can see it, but I mean, it's nice gravel there. But it's just a lot less material, so we should be able to get through this pretty quick. I just turned on the auto idler. No point in burning fuel when we're just sitting here. Anyways, enjoy. All right, we got more gravel. Let's get it. Backwards here, so we'll see how this works. Like I said, this is such nice stuff. Paws like sand. I forget what he's getting me. I think it's like 1.5 inches minus crushed gravel or something like that. I'll probably come in afterwards and top dress this with some trap rock, make it look real nice. I'll keep all the dust down. And that's probably the way I shouldn't work backwards. Probably don't want to pull all that all into my system here. Bouncy. See what happens when you don't put the blade down? So the other thing I wanted to say, for a new machine, this thing's only got about 20 hours on it. I really couldn't find great information for the break-in. I did read the whole owner's manual. That's just a habit that I've gotten into. I think that's always good to do, but you know, their stuff is limited. I think your best bet is to just make sure you don't run it at one speed for the whole time. You know, vary the throttle up, which unfortunately we get in, you start getting into a rhythm and workflow, and you sometimes forget. But I think it's important to vary your RPMs. And the other thing that I'm big on, and it certainly won't serve you wrong, is change your oil early. If you got a new machine, you're running it, let's remember, this is metal on metal, lubricated by oil, and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of videos out there where, you know, you go and you do your first oil change, and there is metal shavings in the filter or in the magnet, near the pan or whatever. So, you know, I don't see any reason to stretch it out to 200 or 300 or 500 hours. You know, I mean, you don't need to do it right away because the filters actually are really good. But shoot, it's cheap enough. Change the filter at 100 hours. I don't think you'll regret it. You know, even for trucks, you know, on a diesel you can go 5,000 or 7,000 recommended. I usually do the first one in 3. Then I do them at 5 or 6. For a gas car, I usually do it at like 2. Then I stretch it out to like the 5. And it all depends on what you're driving. You know, if you're driving in a lot of dust, you gotta do it more. To each his own. Every situation is different. But err on the side of caution. Background, I do have solar panels on my roof. I did it myself. I'm a general contractor. I do a lot of roofing, so for me it really wasn't a big deal. And I really wish that I had made a video about that, because I could not find good help about that. I got my stuff from Wholesale Solar out in California. They were fantastic. And they had some videos to help you along the way, but you got to figure a lot of it out on your own as you're going. I should have made a video about that, but you know, when you're in the middle of doing stuff, it's not always easy to sit there and play with a camera and all that. This is easy. I got a suction cup mount, throw it on, we're good to go. Probably stabilized, but I left the front blade up. Man, it gets a little choppy there. Yeehaw! Benefit from having the loader up here now for this part, but they've all got their snow pushers on them and they're off at their various locations, and really didn't feel like moving everything around. I mean, it's the middle of December in New England, or in Massachusetts, and yeah, you can have snow any day at this point, so jockey things around, have to go put them back. And this is fun anyways. Actually, it's kind of nice just doing it with the excavator. You can work all those corners a lot easier. You can pull it back. We're not leaving tire ruts. All right, Amazon's here. The downfall of our society, the second downfall. We all love the convenience, but man, oh man, what are we doing to the mom and pop shops and the retail stores? Very sad. So here's one of the things that, you know, if you're learning how to run these, you got to learn how to control an arc to leave a relatively flat level spot. You know, once you run it for a little bit, you learn, and it's actually kind of fun. As far as machinery goes, I've probably got, I don't know, 500 or 600 hours in wheel loaders. You know, ranging from the huge Cats or John Deeres, you know, the big 944 size. I've probably got 500 hours in one of those. And then I probably have, you know, a couple hundred hours in the smaller ones. Those are a fun machine to run. I've done things variably from, you know, moving snow, moving dirt, plowing parking lots, all that stuff. And then for skid steers, I've probably got probably 1,000 hours cumulatively between track machines, wheels, you name it. And that's, you know, doing all sorts of stuff. You know, that's doing snow, dirt, you name it. And I think that, I don't know, maybe because I have the least amount and it's new to me, but the excavator is the most fun, most relaxing to me. Short of moving snow, I love moving snow. That's probably my favorite thing to do altogether. Specifically, loading snow, like loading into the tri-axles. The guy that's hauling this is a good buddy of mine. He's actually an excavator. I've done a lot of moving snow with him. He brings his tri-axle, and we load him right up. And that is a lot of fun. I do like plowing snow, but you got a lot of stress and pressure on you. The conditions aren't good, the visibility's not good. And what I've found is, you know, for moving piles of snow, which unfortunately has been less snow, so there's less of lately, you know, there's not the same pressure. We're working hourly. You know, we work fast, we get it done. But, you know, you don't have a timeline of, you know, if it stops snowing at 6 o'clock in the morning, you know, and it snowed between 4 and 6, and you got all of your accounts opening up in an hour, that's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of stress, and it kind of stinks. You guys saw that, right? You gotta watch out for your boom. I almost got myself a little too close. You have a lot of pressure on you to get everything done immediately. And it's just kind of nice when you're out just moving the snow that pressure is relatively gone, because you're just, you know, you're moving it, and the store's not opening in 5 minutes and yelling at you because they've got ice. You know, and then it's just, you're getting to do what that machine is designed to do, and it's, personally, I have a blast. I love moving snow, or, you know, loading the trucks up to get, you know, the snow out of here. So hopefully we'll get to do that this winter. But other than that, the excavator is a lot of fun. I like ripping up stumps. I like ripping up pretty much everything that it does. Very grateful to have it. Probably for all the same reasons you're watching this video. It's kind of like a zen, relaxing sort of thing. If I actually knew what I was doing, it'd probably be better. Alright, let's take a look here. That's not so bad. Pack it down for them. And I'm sure that tri-axle, you know, that thing probably weighs 20,000 pounds on its own, and then he's got, you know, shoot, 40,000 pounds in the back. I'm sure that weight coming across there will help pack this down real nice. said, you probably can't see with the GoPro's amazing stabilization, but I did not have the front blade down, and it was pretty bouncy there. And I put it down, it stables it right up. So I think that'll be it for now. I'm gonna figure out what I'm gonna do with all the spoils here. But he's got more material coming in, and I'm gonna fill in those couple of corners and spots. And don't know if to get on smoothing this out. We'll catch you then. Wow, almost done. Cleaned up real nice. Just gotta smooth it out. I don't think we're gonna even top dress it now. If I were jumbled, I don't think we're going to top dress it. We're just gonna use this.